I'm still very intrigued with this now moment that I have talked about before, and I have written a few poems about it. I think I've shared one of them. There's just something so important about learning to live in the now, in the moment. And it's not just a concept, and it's not some far-fetched thing, but we have very little understanding of it. So I want to just pose the question. What do you think it's like to live now? Now. So now, which seems a few seconds later, it's not. It's still now. So I was just wondering, how would we function in the now? How would we express? How would we know what the next now moment wants or on how it unfolds? And again, I can only speak from my own experience. And when I'm just now, and we can take a little time to just be here now, but just talking about it, what moves me to the next, like opening my hands and looking into the screen and moving back in my chair a little bit. There is something that happens there. And it's not something I am consciously thinking about. It's basically just happening. And then there are times where I may feel hungry or I need to go to the restroom. So then there is a movement showing up, and that moves me to go in those directions, the kitchen, the bathroom. But it's not something I am contemplating. When it comes to contemplating it, then I move out of this now moment. I project myself into a future scenario. What I need to do, should I wait to go to the bathroom till after I finish this video? Shall I wait to go and eat until we're done here? So then it becomes a mental thing. And as soon as we go into the mind, I was going to say then you're not in the now, but we are always in the now. But then we lose the experience of the now. So as soon as I go into my mind and think about what I want to do, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what I should say to this person, and I hear myself saying should a lot here. And as soon as we go into the should, we end up in the should regime. I actually did a online class on that years ago, where instead of living in the moment, which I would say is in the heart, there's a resting, a presence there. When we leave that, we go to the mind, and many times we go to should or should not. And then we try to figure out how to do it. We basically move into duality. And as you may remember, that story from the Bible a long time ago, when Adam and Eve left Eden. It's because they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. To me, that is the tree of duality. That's when they entered or created or accepted, who knows, I wasn't there consciously. Then there is suddenly more than just now. There's something else, and we can choose and we can unchoose, we can decide, we can undecide. Then we move into the mind. I don't know specifically the reason for that. I can come up with some ideas, to get a different experience than the oneness, to see what happens when we're leaving oneness, what is possible. Can we do this on our own? Can we leave oneness and pretend that we're separate from oneness? There's many stories about why that is, and you can find the one that resonates with you. But when we do that, we are leaving the now moment. And that to me is also the Garden of Eden. That is also to me my I am presence. And my I am presence, that's not something out here. It's coming back and just turning our attention to I, not the name. It's not I, Pernilla. It's not I, your name. It is a distinct experience and sensation when we just rest back as I am. So you can play with that. I think I did a video on that too. It's just for a moment, drop the name, drop your title, your gender, your job, your ideas. Just if it's just for a moment, and then find out what is left. If I just put Pernilla away, there's still something here. And it's very tangible, not to the senses, but to a much deeper sense, called the soul sense. When we drop in there, when I drop in there, then I am now. And I think I did the poem about, that I am now. It's the same thing. I is now. It's God is now. There's no separation. So it becomes very important if we want to, move on our spiritual evolution and not staying stuck in duality. We can spend time in coming back to now, or I am. It's kind of the same to me. It wasn't in the beginning, but the more I just practice that, then it becomes like it's the same thing, and it's lovely there. If I leave because I'm worried about what I need to do, what I need to prepare, what might happen, blah, 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 then I totally leave I am, or the now moment, and to project myself into the future. And then I start worrying or get busy or get distracted. And when I'm out there, I am not now. So, of course, the question is, well, how do we do that? How do we live now when we need to pay the bills, when we need to do our job, when we need to do all these things in life that we do all the time? How does it work? I don't think I can give you a quick answer because I don't have one. What I can say, what works for me, is to take many times a day, and I'm remembering it so much more often now than I did it, let's say, 6 or 12 months ago, because this is really something that is alive in me. And that aliveness to me is also how the moment moves and expresses itself. And it always does. But I am not aware of that if I'm out here trying to find out how I should move, how I should express. Then I leave that sweet, natural flow of the now, which is still now. It's not like it ends here and then there's a new now. It is just one now. There is nothing else when we're here. There is a lot else. There's a lot more when we leave and go into our mind and into the future and into the past. And that's, of course, where most of us have lived, and for most of us still do. But that shouldn't stop us from getting curious. What is here when I'm not going there or there? What is here now? And I want to invite you to take a little time to it's really just getting curious about it. The now is here. It's not something you can make happen or work hard to get to. I feel like the curiosity and then the longing that I've talked a lot about, I kind of sense the longing is the now to meet itself. It's that sweet longing that does want to pull us, bring us back home. And the only way that can happen is if we take a moment and take a breath and maybe just say, well, how do I experience this now moment? I have never experienced it. And when I have, it was for a brief moment because the mind takes over. But the more we bring that, we can call it longing, the curiosity, the wanting to experience that. It's like, oh yeah, I really want to experience now. I hear it's really good. There's peace there. There is fulfillment. And everything that we are experiencing expresses itself from now, right? You cannot create something in the future. You cannot become somebody else in the future because there really is no future. But we can be curious about now. And then the more we stay in now, it's like a bubble that I've talked about. It's like a bubble that is just always there. And the more we stay in this bubble of now, we start experiencing more peace. And we start noticing that life basically just knows how to unfold and how to express without our hard work. I remember back in the Garden of Eden, when they were cast out so unkindly, they were told that they needed to work at the sweat of their brow. I think that's how they say it there. And the thing is, that is true when you're outside of the now moment or outside of Eden or outside of I am. To me, it's all the same now. The more I dip in, the more I realize how that future, whatever out there, is so unreal. But it takes time to fully let that unravel inside of me because, of course, every cell in my body has been conditioned to project out of now. So now the invitation is to project back into now or come back home into now. And then now will show us what it is. It's not something your mind can do because it does not exist in the mind. And you may have noticed that it's like chaos in there. It's like future, past, move ahead, work hard, get busy, anything to not be now. You may remember the book by Ram Dass, Be Here Now. That's it. But nobody knows what that means. It's like, oh, it's a great title. Yeah, we should be here now. And I know it's the beingness, the here-ness, presence, the nowness. It's all one thing. It's the same. So the longing that I've talked about, I think I wanted to connect those two, that to me, it feels like when there is a longing, it moves me. It's like, then I know how the next moment, how the next now unfolds. If I'm not in touch with that, then I will be out here trying to figure it all out on my own and work hard and be busy and be distracted. So the longing really is a very, very important portal to dive into and then learn the movement of that longing. Sometimes it does not move. So you just stay here in the now moment, just experiencing now when there's no seeming movement. And then suddenly there will be a movement where it's like, oh, I see, I'm doing this now. And I'm just, as I'm saying that again, I'm just seeing that my hands are doing this now. So there is some kind of a practice we can take on. Even the words coming out of my mouth, it's the same for you. It's not something we're not rehearsing every morning what we're going to say that day. It just comes because there is a movement inside of us that speaks, that is silent, that moves. And, take some time and just play with that a little bit. And you realize you are all of it. And then things become a little less stressful because you know that you're not doing it. You're just kind of this little flimsy thing that doesn't even really exist, the mind. And then you just be curious. Be just curious. Take an hour or half an hour where you just sit and wait till there seems to be a natural movement to do something or not do something. Not the mind telling you you should, or this is boring. Then in your mind you're missing the whole moment, the now. So if I can invite you to be curious and learn to open up to this now, and then see what happens. I'll meet you in the now. It's the same one for you and for me. There's just one now, and we have all left it, and we can choose to come back to it.